We are live. We are discussing the Muppet Christmas Carol.
We are.
That's probably
And
about all the context you need.
um the Muppet Christmas Carol, like most of the renditions I've seen, left out Fanny. And Fanny is my favorite of the memories in the book, and so it always made like she's not terribly necessary, especially when the Muppet Christmas Carol made him kind of a curmudgeon from the get-go, whereas in the book he had that vivid imagination and he was really like he was a good person who lost his way, not a jerk to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
But when he gets to the Ghost of Christmas Present, there's a bit where Clara plays a song on the harp that had been familiar to the girl who had come and taken Scrooge from the school, and it would have that's such an opportunity for a filmmaker to have Fanny like singing it as she runs in to rescue him, and then have Fred's wife singing it later and have that tied together. It would be
Yeah. I think I've seen at least one adaptation where they have her in there. I'm pretty sure.
yeah, but I don't know that they tie that song. They don't have her
Probably not.
singing, they don't have Clara singing the same song, and it's straight out of the book. Someone somewhere has done it, but I mean, then I have to put up with whatever else they got wrong.
I mean, yeah, that's a gamble right there.
I'll just Frankenstein together myself a Snyder cut.
You know, if you need a hobby this holiday season.
Right. I'm gonna try and put together gift baskets for you and Mom and Dad. You and Dad and Mom. Something I can send, since, I mean, it's a given. We're not gonna be swapping air.
Yeah, I don't see that being safe anytime soon.
No.
How was your Thanksgiving?
Jess did come. The point she made was we were exposed to Carmen's germs every week anyway. Touch wood, like, keep your fingers crossed for us, because she was at her anti-masker in-laws' house the day before, so we could all be sick right now. I don't know.
Well, I hope not.
Me too. But other than that, it wasn't the best ever. We tried spatchcocking the turkey and then it was undercooked.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah, so he had to like and we discovered it while cutting it up, that it was definitely underdone. So we had to take the whole platter and dump it onto a baking sheet and like cook it for an extra however long. It was a very 2020 Thanksgiving, really.
Oh dear.
Yeah,
I'm sorry
it was
to hear that.
an hour and a half late, and the turkey was dry, and the gravy separated. Like, all of these things that don't usually go wrong went wrong, and we looked at it and went, well, it's 2020. Everybody scarfed the food down. It was all delicious. Even the separated gravy was delicious. Jason makes amazing food. So, like, the homemade cranberry sauce was awesome. I hear the challah was good, but I'm afraid of eating wheat anymore.
Yeah.
And corn. My surgeon pointed out that corn is also grown with enormous quantities of Roundup, so I should probably keep my hands off of that too. Doesn't really matter except on taco night.
Yeah.
Taco night.
Have to do a taco bowl on rice.
That's what I did. No, I don't eat rice all that much. It just doesn't, I don't like it. I just did a taco bowl on lettuce. But when the food finally arrived, yeah, and we do have, like, of all the problems we've got, isolation isn't one of them. We are like the Swiss Family Robinson up in here.
You do have a rather full house.
We have a full house. And I spent the week getting Sebastian's room clean, which desperately needed to happen. He hadn't emptied any of the boxes since we finished his room because he figured he was going off to college soon. So it didn't matter. And I'm like, it matters. And then I got vindicated in that because everything I got out, he was like, oh my God, that's where that went. Been looking for it, have you? It's not in any of the boxes.
Look, in his defense, we moved in February,
Yes.
and I still have not found my perfume collection. But I also still have a number of unpacked boxes.
You and Sebastian have always had a lot in common.
We really do. He and I are probably the most similar of all.
Of all the completely unrelated people in the family. That, well, Ethan and Brown have enormous quantities of parallels. There have been many times when I'm glad they've got each other because they're both such odd ducks that it's nice for them to have someone else in the house who knows what it's like to be up till 4 a.m. and then wonder why they're sleepy.
Yeah, I mean, I can speak to that too. Although last night it was not my fault, so my shoulder popped out of joint a little bit, I think. I was laying in bed and all of a sudden it started hurting, and this shoulder's never been right.
Yeah.
So at first I was like, maybe the weather's changing, whatever. It got to the point where it was hurting badly enough that I couldn't sleep on this side or on my back.
Oh,
I had to sleep on the other side so that gravity would like pull it in.
Oh.
And then eventually this morning it kind of cracked and went back into place, and that's been fine. But
that's
awful. I didn't get the kind of sleep that I would like to have gotten. I'll just say that.
No. My right shoulder has been fuckered it up for a year and a half now. And I got the results of the x-ray back and there's nothing wrong, so they're not going to pursue it further. And I'm like, thanks. Yeah. But I went and found the masseuse who correctly identified what was going on with my knees years ago when they were all fuckered up. And they still do that thing every so often. They get to where I can't put weight on them bent without suffering. And I'm like, oh, I just have to roll around on a tennis ball for a bit on my hip and I'll be fine. And I always am. So I went and found her and got me and Brown each a massage. I've looked at her protocols, her COVID protocols. They're all very good. Everyone will be masked. It's necessary. Brown keeps sleeping on her joints wrong and then they swell up. Like she needs a badass physical therapist, CrossFit masseuse to pound her into shape and then tell her what to do next. And so do I.
Yeah. Well, Brown has some of that joint stuff. I remember even from childhood. So,
yeah.
I mean, ultimately the problem's not going to be in muscles, but building up the muscles properly can help keep the joints in place.
And she won't hear that advice till I'm blue in the face, but I'm mom, so what do I know? I could read tonight.
Yes, I mean, I suppose that is what we do here and stuff. I have my knitting. Observe.
Yeah. Oh.
'Tis a sleep. Okay. All right. Which way am I going here?
How far had we gotten in our journey with Smeagol?
Finished the chapter, I believe.
That sounds right. Okay, got to the taming of Smeagol. Over all the leagues of waste before the gates of Mordor, there was a black silence. No, I feel like we got further than that.
Yeah, for some reason I thought we finished that chapter.
The Passage of the Marshes?
I don't know. I'm not
It's not.
sure.
Yeah, we got through Smeagol singing to himself. Alive, the
Mm.
fish rhyme and the didn't we? Oh,
Yeah, we definitely got to the fish rhyme. I'm back. Um,
okay.
yeah, we were definitely past the fish rhyme. I don't quite know where that puts us though.
And he had tried the lembas bread, but it didn't suit him.
Oh yeah, and then he was like, "I'll just starve," and we were like, "What a
Yeah.
drama queen."
And Frodo said, "Perhaps you can't even try, not yet anyway."
Oh yeah, that sounds right.
The hobbits munched their lembas in silence. Is that where we're at?
I think so.
Okay. Sam thought that it tasted far better somehow than it had for a good while. Gollum's behavior had made him attend to its flavor again. But he did not feel comfortable. Gollum watched every morsel from hand to mouth like an expectant dog by a diner's chair. Only when they had finished and were preparing to rest was he apparently convinced that they had no hidden dainties that he could share in. Then he went and sat by himself a few paces away and whimpered a little.
Which I mean is a bit understandable. I mean, it would be sad to like be the only person who doesn't have anything to eat.
Yeah, yeah. Look here, Sam whispered to Frodo, not too softly. He did not really care whether Gollum heard him or not. We've got to get some sleep, but not both together with that hungry villain nigh, promise or no promise. Smeagol or Gollum, he won't change his habits in a hurry, I'll warrant. You go to sleep, Mr. Frodo, and I'll call you when I can't keep my eyelids propped up. Turning about, same as before, while he's loose. Perhaps you're right, Sam, said Frodo, speaking openly. There is a change in him, but just what kind of a change and how deep, I'm not sure yet. Seriously, though, I don't think there is, as he says, seriously, though. Seriously, though. I don't think there is any need for fear at present. Still, watch if you wish. Give me about 2 hours, not more, and then call me. So tired was Frodo that his head fell forward on his breast, and he slept, almost as soon as he had spoken the words. Gollum seemed no longer to have any fears. He curled up and went quickly to sleep, quite unconcerned. Presently his breath was hissing softly through his clenched teeth, but he lay still as stone. After a while, fearing that he would drop off himself if he sat listening to his two companions breathing, Sam got up and gently prodded Gollum. His hands uncurled and twitched, but he made no other movement. Sam bent down and said, "Fish," close to his ear, but there was no response. Not even a catch in Gollum's breathing. Sam scratched his head. "Must really be asleep," he muttered. "And if I was like Gollum, he wouldn't wake up, never again." He restrained the thoughts of his sword and the rope that sprang to his mind, and went and sat down by his master. When he woke up, the sky above was dim, not lighter but darker than when they had breakfasted. Sam leaped to his feet. Not least from his own feeling of vigor and hunger, he suddenly understood that he had slept the daylight away, 9 hours at least. Frodo was still fast asleep, lying now stretched on his side. Gollum was not to be seen. Various reproachful names for himself came to Sam's mind, drawn from the gaffer's large paternal word hoard. Then it also occurred to him that his master had been right. There had, for the present, been nothing to guard against. They were at any rate both alive and unthrottled. "Poor wretch," he said, half remorsefully. "Now I wonder where he's got to." Not far, not far, said a voice above him. He looked up and saw the shape of Gollum's large head and ears against the evening sky. Here, what are you doing? Cried Sam, his suspicions coming back as soon as he saw that shape. Smeagol is hungry, said Gollum. Be back soon. Come back now, shouted Sam. Hi, come back. But Gollum had vanished. Frodo woke at the sound of Sam's shout and sat up, rubbing his eyes. Hello, he said. Anything wrong? What's the time? I don't know, said Sam. After sundown, I reckon. And he's gone off. Says he's hungry. Don't worry, said Frodo. There's no help for it, but he'll come back, you'll see. The promise will hold yet a while, and he won't leave his precious anyway. Thank you, Frodo. Frodo made light of it when he learned that they had slept soundly for hours with Gollum, and a very hungry Gollum, too, loose beside them. Don't think of any of your gaffer's hard names, he said. You were worn out, and it has turned out well. We are now both rested, and we have a hard road ahead, the worst road of all. About the food, said Sam. How long's it going to take us to do this job? And when it's done, what are we going to do then? This whey bread keeps you on your legs in a wonderful way, though it doesn't satisfy the innards proper, as you might say. Not to my feeling, anyhow, meaning no disrespect to them as made it. But you have to eat some of it every day, and it doesn't grow. I reckon we've got enough to last, say, 3 weeks or so, and that with a tight belt and a light tooth, mind you. We've been a bit free with it so far. I don't know how long we shall take to finish, said Frodo. We were miserably delayed in the hills. But, Samwise Gamgee, my dear hobbit, indeed, Sam, my dearest hobbit, friend of friends, I do not think we need give thought to what comes after that. To do the job, as you put it, what hope is there that we ever shall? And if we do, who knows what will come of that? If the one goes into the fire and we are at hand, I ask you, Sam, are we ever likely to need bread again? I think not. If we can nurse our limbs to bring us to Mount Doom, that is all we can do. More than I can, I begin to feel. Sam nodded silently. He took his master's hand and bent over it. He did not kiss it, though his tears fell on it. Then he turned away, drew his sleeve over his nose, and got up and stamped about, trying to whistle, and saying between the efforts, Where's that dratted creature? Yes, let's have a little conversation about how we are on an honest-to-God suicide mission, which will probably end in our being engulfed in lava because we know that's likely to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And be like, yeah, that's the thing.
I mean, what else are you gonna do?
Right? Throw it away and run? Nobody will find it in the dead marshes.
But see, they know that then they would die anyway, because somebody would.
Right? Yep. But maybe not yet. Oh well. I love it. I admire it.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have any illusions.
Nope.
They pretend to have illusions because that helps keep them cheerful.
I feel like that's kind of
actually have any.
very hobbits in a nutshell right there.
Right? It was actually not long before Gollum returned, but he came so quietly that they did not hear him till he stood before them. His fingers and face were soiled with black mud. He was still chewing and slavering. What he was chewing they did not ask or like to think. Drop it!
Stop eating plastic.
Ugh. Worms or beetles or something slimy out of holes, thought Sam. Brah! A nasty creature. A poor wretch. Gollum said nothing to them. What?
Well, that's probably actually quite nutritious.
Right?
They say that bugs are really good for you.
Yeah, in The Lion King. Um,
No, but for real, they're very nutritious. I'm not saying
no,
I want to eat, but they are actually really good for you.
not as good for you as lembas bread, though. I mean, if those are the options, and they are for him. And I like that Sam continues to hold in his mind nasty creature and poor wretch as his two visions of who this character is without any cognitive dissonance. Like he doesn't have to choose one. That's
Well,
yeah.
nasty things very often are quite pathetic.
And but a lot of people don't want to pity that which disgusts them.
Often things disgust them because they know they're worthy of pity. Are you frozen? Am I frozen? Who's frozen?
I'm back.
Yay!
Hello?
Hello? Can you hear me?
The screen went black for a while, and when it comes back, you're like, here.
Follow Smeagol, yes.
It goes black when you're back here, and then here.
What you didn't know is I'm actually a weeping angel.
Oh, now everything makes sense. Oh.
Doesn't it, though?
Yes. The cool kind of weeping angel that feeds on like the psychic phenomena that would have happened if people died too early, or the stupid kind of the Matt Smith episodes that just sort of kills people.
Obviously the cool kind. Come on. Come on, what do you take me
Yeah.
for? Also, unrelatedly, sleeves take a really long time. This is still the first one. I have another one to go. Why do I have 2 arms? Seems like too many.
It doesn't, because you couldn't knit without them. I mean, sure, we'd get you a really neat prosthetic that could sort of work, but no, I think then
I
you'd have
would
to leave for the prosthetic too. So
I would find some kind of adaptive technology if I lost an arm or a hand.
as would I. It's not something I'm hoping for though.
I mean, no. Only when I have to knit sleeves.
Right?
Also, why are my arms so long? God.
That's genes.
Your jeans.
Do, Beatles, nice hob. Ah ha ha ha. Gollum said nothing to them until he had drunk deeply and washed himself in the stream. Then he came up to them, licking his lips. Better now, he said. Are we rested? Ready to go on? Nice hobbits, they sleep beautifully. Trust Smeagol now? Very, very good. The next stage of their journey was much the same as the last. As they went on, the gully became ever shallower, and the slope of its floor more gradual. Its bottom was less stony and more earthy, and slowly its sides dwindled to mere banks. It began to wind and wander. That night drew to its end, but clouds were now over moon and star, and they knew of the coming of day only by the slow spreading of the thin grey night. Light. In a chill hour, they came to the end of the watercourse. The banks became moss-grown mounds. Over the last shelf of rotting stone the stream gurgled and fell down into a brown bog and was lost. Dry reeds hissed and rattled, though they could feel no wind. On either side and in front, wide fens and mires now lay, stretching away southward and eastward into the dim half-light. Mists curled and smoked from dark and noisome pools. The reek of them hung stifling in the still air. Far away, now almost due south, the mountain walls of Mordor loomed, like a black bar of ragged clouds floating above a dangerous, fog-bound sea. The hobbits were now wholly in the hands of Gollum. They did not know, and could not guess in that misty light, that they were in fact only just within the northern borders of the marshes, the main expanse of which lay south of them. They could, if they had known the lands, with some delay, have retraced their steps a little, and then turning east, have come round over hard roads to the bare plain of Dagorlad, the field of the ancient battle before the gates of Mordor. Not that there was great hope in such a course. On that stony plain there was no cover, and across it ran the highways of the orcs and the soldiers of the enemy. Not even the cloaks of Lorien would have concealed them there. All of this is like presented as if only they'd known, and then the next sentence is Gollum telling them. How do we shape our course now, Smeagol? Asked Frodo. Must we cross these evil-smelling fens? No need at all, said Gollum. Not if hobbits want to reach the dark mountains and go to see him very quick. Back a little and round a little, his skinny arm waved north and east, and you can come on hard, cold roads to the very gates of his country. Lots of his people will be there looking out for guests, very pleased to take them straight to him. Oh, yes. His eye watches that way all the time. It caught Smeagol there long ago. Gollum shuddered. But Smeagol has used his eyes since then. Yes, yes. I've used my eyes and feet and nose since then. I know other ways. More difficult, not so quick. Something wrong with my... But better if we don't want him to see. Follow Smeagol. He can take you through the marshes, through the mists, nice thick mists. Follow Smeagol very carefully, and you may go a long way, quite a long way, before he catches you. Yes, perhaps. It was already day, a windless and sullen morning, and the marsh reeks lay in heavy banks. No sun pierced the low clouded sky, and Gollum seemed anxious to continue the journey at once. So, after a brief rest, they set out again and were soon lost in a shadowy, silent world, cut off from all view of the lands about, either the hills that they had left or the mountains that they sought. They went slowly in single file, Gollum, Sam, Frodo. Okay, I need to... I'm sorry it's so short, but I need to go to the bathroom, and we're close enough to the end that I should probably go.
Totally fine. Well, I love you, and I'm glad that we got some time. And I think... Oh, you froze for a second. Okay. Well, next Monday, and if I get a magical burst of energy before then, I'll let you know.
Excellent.
Sound good?
Okay. It sounds excellent, and wish me luck with my butt.
Good luck with your
Speaking
butt.
of missing things. I love you. And
I love you too.
Think about and ask Dad favorite elements of the ones I've painted so far. I've posted them somewhere. Because
Yes.
that's my idea for presents.
I'm
Also, if there's
excited.
anything else, anything else that you want that I can make happen, let me know so that we can start sending boxes around in a couple weeks.
Sounds good. And likewise to you, let me know what you would like for solstice.
I love you.
I love you too.
Cuidado.
Te amas.
Bye.